Hello, hello, hello. Crafty Chris here for another Scrap Your Scraps Thursday night. Tonight's going to be a little bit different. January is my month to get a hold on my out of control craft space. And so I'm going to share with you my process of tidying up. It's going to be in more than one video. This is the beginning video. And I just want to kind of give you my thoughts around how I'm organizing my space. To begin with, I had to clear out some floor space in my craft room where I could put things down in piles and sort things into like objects so that I could get them organized in a way that I could finally find a place for them to be stored. So what I did was I cleared out those things that I knew I was getting rid of right away. And I kind of had them in a stack off to one side in the craft room anyway, and it was just a matter of getting them out of the way so that I could use the space more practically. So in this picture, you can see that I've got a couple of piles started. I've got some tools that I want to dispose of, and I've got some storage bags that I want to dispose of. And I've kind of gone around and chosen some other things. So here is a bag of whatnots and some paper. And I've sort of bundled things where I think they are logical. And here you can see a couple of boxes in a pile of things that are chipboard, embellishments that I've created, some things that were given to me that I'm not using that I think somebody might be interested in using. And this is more of like a swap table thing, not necessarily a for sale thing, but sometimes crops that I go to have these kinds of opportunities. And then you can see my piles were growing. So there's more tools and there's more storage items and there's more stuff to put on a swap table. And then I have a pile of things that I know friends want. And so I've got on the right there a container I know a friend wants. And on the left hand side again are um, things that are tool-like and that are pre-kit layouts that I know that some of my friends would make use of. And then you can see there's been some more things added, some storage items, and a never used polar bear frame, which is not scrapbooking, but again, like I said, this is sort of a giveaway pile for friends. And then I realized that I had things that were not scrappy, but that might be of use to people, either in a garage sale or Facebook market, whatever. I have a print there that's a numbered print with matching papers to testify to its authenticity. And then there's a Bible there and some 8.5 by 11 storage and binders. And then I move things out into the hallway. So what you see there are a bag of storage things that I know I want to keep. I just haven't got things to put in them at the moment. Now, it doesn't mean that I will keep them. It depends how everything plays out in my organization, but I didn't want to get rid of them until I was sure that I wouldn't use them. And beside that are some fold up bins that are very convenient to tuck things into when you're moving things to a crop, or they can be stored and used for other purposes in the garage. So I'm hanging on to those as well. So that's in a hanging on area. And then you can see that it's gotten bigger because I also found some album protectors and a whole bag of bags. Yes, I have a bag of bags. I don't know how long I'll keep it, but it's really hard to give up bags that are the right size for paper that are zip locked. So that is an entire bag of those, very hard to hang on to things. And then in the center section of this hallway, I've got my projects. So I've got a couple of Mexico trips that need to be crafted. I have some travel trips that need to be crafted. I have my actual yearly albums in a different location, which I'll share with you later. But anything that was an on the go, in the moment sort of project went into the center of the hall. Um, Near the end of the hallway, I have other things. So I have a couple of projects that are almost done. One of them on the right is an album, or not an album rather, but a recipe book that I'm making, and then the long cab carry-all has my glimmer machine that I promised myself I would get out and work on and learn to use properly and use it more often. So that's why it's been put aside in a separate container, because if I put that in a closet, I will never touch it. And then finally, I have boxes and bins of I have no idea. So these are a bunch of things that I actually literally am going to have to at one point dump out and sort through. And that I'll go through in another video to help you organize papers and ephemera and stuff like that. But for now, we are not working on that aspect of the organization in my craft room. And this is a shot of some of my other crafty things. In the right hand side bag is my stamping platforms and whatnot. And then I also have my diamond art work that I do. Just it's a nice brainless thing to do when you haven't got any creative ideas for your scrapbooking. The other thing that needs to happen, which you should be doing every 7 years, is to chew up, or what do they call it, shred any documents that are over 7 years or over, and or it could be over 7 years. In Canada anyway, and some old CDs that I don't even have a CD machine anymore, so they are pointless. And I'm happy to say that I ended up junking 3 really big bags of shredded documents to the curb on garbage day. All right, so this is where we are starting. We are starting with my stamps and dies. My stamps, for the most part, are fairly organized. They're on the right-hand pillar of the shelving there. The left-hand side is the dies that need some help. They are not organized well. I really did start to do it, but they kind of ran away with me and other things became more important. So it didn't get the attention that it should have received. So I showed you what was actually put on the shelves. This box is a whole other box of stamps and dies that have not been dealt with at all. So I do have a system I use, and you'll see it in a photograph further down, further along in the video, to catalog everything that I have so that I can search it on a search word. And then that way I can hopefully use things in a much better way. So to begin with, I decided that because I had my stamps a little bit organized, I would use those categories to sort through that box that hadn't been touched. So I laid out post-it notes around the area in my craft room that I cleared out in order to be able to sort and divide and conquer. And hopefully had hoped that I would be able to get everything sorted into these categories. So here's a couple of them. We have spring events, and fall events, and I think I also have summer events and travel in there as well. And I found I just found this the easiest way that I could just start stacking things up and sorting them. And I don't have enough containers to be all organized and have things go into the container right away. So this was the best I could do for organization. So as you can see here, there was a bit of slippage, especially when it came to Christmas events, because I have a ton of Christmas stamps, more than I really wanted. And I also added a few more categories in there. You can see underneath that original line of categories, because I found stamps that sort of didn't fit into different categories. And then as I went along as well, I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't leave it in such a generic category, and I should divide that particular grouping of stamps into more than one category. So ended up with all of these categories to divide my stamps into. So all of those wonderful categories were just the stamps. I still have stamp and die sets, stamp and stencil sets, stamp and stencil and die sets, and then a bunch of just regular die sets that need to be organized after the fact. So that's going to be in the next video. So there is still plenty to do. So this is sort of a screenshot of my software. The software that I use is called Evernote, and it's not a new software, and it's used by quite a few different kinds of people. I use it to stay on top of my and know what my inventory is. I do not put consumables in there because consumables come and go, unless they're long lasting consumables like inks. Then I will put them in because I want to remember that I do have a re-inker for that ink, so I can put that information into the system, so when my ink pad dries, I know I have an ink re-inker in my re-inker drawer, which is a whole other area of organization, which I will hopefully get to in this series. So here is my desktop. As you can see, everything looked nice and organized on the floor, but then it all went to a mess when I was sitting down and cataloging, because I had to first of all confirm that I had cataloged it, that I put some kind of an indicator as to where it existed in my craft room. It wasn't enough to just say summer stamp and then hope that I could find it. I had to be more specific and say summer stamp um, in the summer on the summer, or let me use a better example. Um, so I have lots of sentiment stamps, and but some of them I divided out from the main category sentiment stamps, and one of them was love. So I would write in the love stamps that it was a love stamp on the sentiment stamp shelves, so I know at least where to go. So now looking at my stamp shelf, it doesn't look much different than it did look, but I have to tell you it's a whole lot more organized, and it matches what's going on in my Evernote software. In the Evernote software, one of the things I should mention that it has really been helpful for is not buying doubles of things. So because I can put an image in there, and because I can put a description in there and where it is in my craft room, I find myself buying a lot less doubles, especially when things get messy, because I know, because of my software, that I did buy it and it's somewhere in my craft room, and therefore it means I have to go search for it. So hopefully the searching will be less after all of this work. I hope you enjoyed this part or of the video set that I hope to do for organizing your craft room. And if you enjoyed it, please share with friends. If you found it helpful, please share with friends. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you liked my video. And I will see you next Thursday with more. Bye for now.